Hello.
Oh, hello.
And welcome to Carry On, Up the Podcast. In this, our first episode looking into the history of the Carry On films, we're going back to 1955. Britain, in a simpler, more innocent time, when men were men, women were women, children were seen and not heard. Everyone knew their role, and just got on with it. None of this faffing about nonsense like we have today. No. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes. Film producer Sidney Box approached author R.F. Delderfield to write a screenplay about national service in the United Kingdom. The project was shelved until 1957, with Delderfield planning to write the screenplay of an ensemble cast film with the working title of The Bull Boys. Delderfield's planned screenplay was to have been 1/3 laughter, 1/3 documentary, 1/3 exciting incident leading up to the climax, with the virtues of national service shown as giving the young men pride in their regiment and uniform, similar to Carol Reed's 1944 film, The Way Ahead. Events overtook the film producers when the War Office White Paper of 1957 recommended the end of national service. Box approached his brother-in-law Peter Rogers, then the head of Beaconsfield Film Studios, with the pair agreeing that the route to take was making fun of national service, particularly due to the success of the 1956 Bolting Brothers film Private's Progress and the 1957 to 1962 television series The Army Game.
You and you, on your feet, at the double. You're in the army now. Left right. Right, help. Left hand. Right, don't the swing again, Charlie, you. Now, I want this place spick-span and spotless, understand? You filthy, horrible shower. You don't finish like a corporation rubbish dump. Get that clean through. Right? Right. Get weaving.
Sorry, sir. Phew, blimey, he's back all right.
He is a lovely man.
Do you like him?
Give over, Papa.
Proving that even great institutions have modest beginnings, Carry On Sergeant, the first film in the Carry On series, started out as little more than an attempt to cash in on the huge success of the ITV sitcom. The TV series was so popular that it had already led to its own movie spin-off, I Only Asked, directed by Montgomery Tully in 1958. Producer Peter Rogers even went so far as to recruit two of the series' leading cast members, Charles Hawtrey
Oh, hello.
and William Hartnell, as the titular sergeant. Hartnell, in any event, was only playing a comic variation on a character he had first portrayed in the classic wartime film, The Way Ahead. But I'm getting way ahead of myself now, so back to Peter Rogers, who now owned the rights to Delderfield's script, The Bull Boys, sought about turning the more or less straightforward story into a comedy. So his first port of call would be none other than Eric Sykes. But Eric, who was, well, let's say, a bit sore still after some recent hassle in the film industry, told Rogers that, and I quote, "All producers are shits," and abruptly showed him the door. So, Rogers then took the story to Spike Milligan to see if he could sprinkle some comedy into it. Spike had a revolver on his desk and announced, "I'm going to shoot my wife." Rogers advised him that it would probably be easier to just divorce her, left, and took the Bull Boys instead to Norman Hoodis. It had been Rogers who'd given Hoodis his first big break, scripting the Tommy Steele story, which he followed up with another vehicle for the pop star. The Duke Wore Jeans, which was also directed by Gerald Thomas, who we shall come to in a short while. Rogers liked Hoddis's reworking of the Bull Boys, and so secured a deal with the studio Anglo Amalgamated, who agreed to finance the film. But Stuart Levy, who ran Anglo, wasn't keen on the title of the Bull Boys as the film's title, feeling certain that the Bull Boys was certain to be box office poison, suggesting an alternative title, something a little more light-hearted, and Carry On Sergeant seemed an obvious choice. The previous year, a film entitled Carry On Admiral had been released and had made a fair return on its production costs at the box office. Levy saw no reason why Rogers shouldn't cash in on that film's success and use the Carry On prefix on his project. This is probably why Carry On Admiral quite often gets confused as being part of the official Carry On series.
Excuse me, I seem to be lost. The notice says 13 to 19, but that's number 11, and that was number 10.
Oh, no, that's not 10, that's 18, only the top of the 8 broke off.
Broke off.
And that's not 11, that's 17, only the top of the 7 broke off.
I suppose it can happen in the best
Well,
hotel.
what room do you want?
Number 16.
There we
No, this one, number 9.
Oh, no, that's a 6, but it keeps slipping down, and the 1 got lost or something.
This floor seems to have had rather a bashing, doesn't it?
Yes, it was that week the American fleet was in.
With a finished script and financial backing, Peter Rogers was now on the hunt for a director for the now titled Carry On Sergeant. He gave first refusal to Muriel Box, his sister-in-law, who had films such as The Beachcomber and Eyewitness to her credit. But Box turned him down. Second on his list was Val Guest, who had had a hit with Hammer's The Quarter Mass Experiment. He too turned Rogers down. And so, it was the case of third time lucky, when Rogers turned to a director he already had under contract, Gerald Thomas. And luckily for Rogers, Thomas was more than happy to direct it, and the rest, well, is history. With a budget of £74,000 and a mere 6-week shooting schedule, filming for Carry On Sergeant began on the 24th of March 1958. Filming locations included the Queen's Barracks in Guildford, Surrey, with studio sequences shot at Pinewood Studios.
I've seen better.
The film stars William Hartnell as Sergeant Grimshaw. Apparently Hartnell was as abrupt and aggressive off-screen as he was on, and the ideal actor to bring Grimshaw to life, behaving like a real sergeant towards the cast playing his troops. This spelt bad news for any actor who fluffed their lines or spoiled a take. Hartnell would later go on to play the first Doctor in the classic sci-fi TV show Doctor Who, where he would play the lead role from 1963 until 1966.
Yes, it all started out as a mild curiosity in the junkyard. And now it's turned out to be quite a great spirit of adventure, don't you think?
Hey, you! Sir, Sergeant?
What are you gawping out of that window for?
I was listening, Sergeant, really I was.
And you know all about it, won't you? Up on your feet!
Another star making their one and only carry-on appearance is comedian Bob Monkhouse, here playing Charlie Sage. Bob would later go on to be remembered for his hit TV shows Celebrity Squares and Bob's Full House, as well as his stand-up routines in Comic Genius.
So I grew up knowing nothing about you wonderful women. I was a teenager. I wasn't very good looking as a teenager. I couldn't get girls my own age to go out with me. I had to settle for going out with an older woman. I never found out how old she was. But one day when I told her actor age, she died. I knew nothing about women in those days. I went into the RAF, I was called up in the RAF, I met my first wife, and I was a virgin. I swear to God, I knew nothing, I'd never been touched. She, on the other hand, had been around. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. She told me I was 1 in a million. I found out later she was telling the bloody truth.
Remove the piston group and place it on the right-hand side of the gun. Right. Number 2.
Shirley Eaton as Mary, here in her first of 3 carry-on appearances. Shirley, of course, is best known for her role as Jill Masterson, first victim of Goldfinger in the legendary Bond film.
Jill who?
Jill Masterson.
Tell me, Jill. Why does he do it?
He likes to win.
Why do you do it?
He pays me.
Get your hair cut in the morning.
Playing the part of Corporal Copping, we have Bill Owen in his first of 4 roles in the Carry On series. Of course, Bill is best known to audiences as lovable rogue Compo in the long-running TV sitcom Last of the Summer Wine.
I'd still like to know how you're planning to do it. You can't just walk up and grab the woman.
You have to be quick, and you could still end up with a nasty headache.
Eric Barker in his first of 4 carry-on outings, the last one being in 1978's carry-on Emmanuel, where he has a small role as a dinner guest, but here in the more significant role as Captain Potts.
It'll go. Take up the cannon handle and ease the barrel forward until it is clear, and place it on the right-hand side of the piston group. Number 3, the butt. Lift up the gun gently and pull the butt back away from the body.
The talented character actress Dora Bryan plays Nora. Dora would later be known for her roles in the film A Taste of Honey and TV roles including Absolutely Fabulous and Last of the Summer Wine. And a fun bit of trivia. Dora once owned the Hotel Claridge's, which was used as exterior shots for both Carry On Girls and Carry On at Your Convenience.
Well, who are you? 4277298 Private Hayward M, sir.
Hayward? Ever heard of General Hayward?
My father, sir.
Really? Rear Admiral Hayward?
My grandfather, sir.
Air Commodore Hayward?
My uncle, sir.
Ah, quick test. What's the first thing comes into your head?
Women, sir.
You're a soldier by tradition and instinct. What's this
Terence
man,
Longdon plays Miles Hayward. This would be his first in 4 Carry On roles.
Definite.
And now to our more regular stars.
Regularly. Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom. That's it.
Yes. Strong, that's your heart beating. Normal.
The wonderful Hattie Jacques playing Captain Clark. This would be Hattie's first appearance in a total of 14 carry-ons.
You?
Yeah?
What? Who are you?
James Bailey, BSc Economics.
Your number?
I'm not proud of it. It was given to me. I earned my degree.
Your rank?
Well, that's a matter of opinion.
Look at this man.
You've nothing to complain of. Look at the suit they've given me. Look at this, plumped on my head without even the pretense of fitting. As a good soldier, I accepted it without complaint. As a good officer, what do you think?
Well, pride in appearance plus confidence in one's superior equals good start. Fall out. Get yourself a new hat.
Excuse me.
Of course. What?
The outrageously talented Kenneth Williams in his first of 25 carry-on outings. 26 if you count the 1977 compilation film. That's Carry On, making Williams the actor that appears in more Carry On films than any other actor. In Carry On, Sergeant Williams plays James Bailey, a more reserved and straighter character to what would come further down the line. Before this, Williams was better known to the public for playing a host of characters on radio show Hancock's Half Hour.
You might have told me there was another ejection seat.
All right, well, we're both out here. Now what do we do?
Oh, look, we're going up.
Well, what do you expect when we're both sitting on the tail?
Isn't life funny? In the papers this morning, the Star said it was my lucky day.
If we keep going up at this rate, you'll be able to tell them they're wrong.
Hello.
Where have you been?
Well, I got locked in somewhere. You see, Oh, dear.
Charles Hawtrey plays the accident-prone. Peter Golightly, Hawtrey's first in 23 carry-on outings. Hawtrey had been acting from an early age, first appearing in films while still a child. Movie roles including Alfred Hitchcock's Sabotage in 1936.
This bivalve's rate of fertility is extremely high. After laying 1 million eggs, the female oyster changes her sex.
I don't blame her.
Okay.
And that brings us to Kenneth Connor as hypochondriac Horace Strong. This was Kenneth's first of 17 roles in the Carry On series. Outside of the Carry On films, Connor is also notable for his roles in sitcoms such as Hi-D Hi, Blackadder III, and of course, Allo Allo.
Black suspender. Oh, my dicky chicken.
Carry On Sergeant was released on 31st of August 1958 and on a budget of $73,000, made $500,000 back at the box office.
Say, look, a knife for getting things out of a horse's foot. I've always wanted one of these.
Medical. A farce. A criminal farce. Me. A flaming one. I'll tell you, mate. 2 of everything you should have 2 of and you're in.
If you've never been doubled up before, if you've never lost your breath laughing, we warn you it could happen now.
Get your hair cut in the morning.
As you watch a bunch of physical jerks, a proper shower of misbegotten misfits who never miss a trick.
Now, I'm a quiet, reasonable, humane man. I know. My mother told me. Oh, yes, I had a mother and a father, even though I'm a sergeant.
Can I report
I didn't know it was going to be a big success. We made it here. And it broke the ice in Pinewood, which was regarded as a very expensive studio. We broke the ice, proving that you could make a very modest budget picture in Pinewood, because it only cost 70-something thousand.
There are very few feelings to measure up to hearing 2,000 people laughing.
Look at you, standing as if you're pregnant.
Wouldn't surprise me after the way I've been mucked about.
William Hartnell as Sergeant Grimshaw. Shirley Eaton as Mary, a honey pining for a honeymoon, just married to a ripe Charlie, Bob Monkhouse.
You want leave to get married, do you? Oh, no, sir. It's just that I want to arrange things. Dirty rotter.
Eric Barker as...
And so, to the final verdict on Carry On Sergeant, well, it's really just a typical service comedy, much like the others being produced in the late 50s, only this has a little more charm and wit, and, well, holds up. Even today, there aren't any of the innuendo-laden scenes which we would later come to expect from the later Carry-Ons, but it is without a doubt laden with verbal puns and visual gags, the what would become regular team shine. And so too does Bob Monkhouse, who is perfectly at ease. A shame that this was his one and only Carry-On outing. Overall, Carry On Sergeant is a great start to what would become the Carry On series, how we now know it. And that brings us to the end of this, the first episode of Carry On Up the podcast. So, if you enjoyed it, give that subscribe button a tickle and my bell a clang. That way you'll know as soon as we get another one up. And of course, you wouldn't want to miss out, as next time we'll be taking a deep dive into Nurse. Carry On Nurse, that is. So until then, keep calm and carry on.